Hey everybody, it's Peter from Brantford Kia, and we are live from our unfinished video bay. We're just getting set up right now, so we've got the Kia Sorento behind me. So when I tell you we're getting set up, let me just show you quickly what I'm doing here. I'll flip the camera around. There we go. Just gonna refresh this page here so that when you comment, I can read your comments. So when you comment, your comments will show up on our screen, on my screen, on the video, or what the camera that I'm filming with, but I don't always see them right away, so I will come back to them right here. So, some of you may be asking, what am I doing here? We are in Ontario, and part of the essential services which have been changed involve being in the building for service. And those of you who don't know me, many of you who do know me know that I have worked in service in the past, and I am still assisting with service. So we offer a valet for our service customers right now. If you need to get your car in for service, we can help you. And in fact, I can come help arrange that, dropping you a car and picking up a car for you. So of course, we're taking all the health and safety precautions in place. I am skipping away from that just real briefly here to do these live videos every day at 2 o'clock. So we will be talking about this Sorento today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the Rio, and on Thursday we're going to talk about the Stinger, and then we're going to head into the long weekend where I will be back on Monday, and we'll figure that out as we go. Anyways, if you are wondering where we are right now, we are in our unfinished video bay. So part of the sort of COVID-19 stuff that's going on, we have decided to do some live videos, and this is going to be our video and delivery bay. And you can see there is no lighting in here. We're using natural light only. It's a little bit of a cloudy day today, so I've kind of improvised a little bit with some lighting. You'll see that as we come up. And we're gonna take a walk around of every single car on our lot at some point. So right now we're working our way through the Sorento. We've hit, I think, everything except for the Stinger and the Rio. I'll have to double check my list, but it looks like we'll finish up at least every model, and then we'll start going through trim lines and other things, and we'll do that, and we'll continue doing this every day at 2 o'clock Eastern time. So we won't go too far. Just in case you're just joining us, again, I am working just because I'm working with our service department, and I'm skipping away to do these videos for you. Today we have in the bay our Sorento SX. Now, many of you know this is the last year for the Sorento. We think it should be the last year. They do have another 2021 model that has been somewhat introduced, but not formally introduced because the New York Auto Show was canceled and other things like that. So we have seen pictures of it. I assume it's coming out, we assumed it was coming out in this fall. We'll just sort of see about availability dates. So those kinds of things are gonna be hard to judge for sure. Like I said, if you have questions throughout my video, they only show up on my screen for a second, so continue to ask your questions. We'll come back to them several times. And I think with that being said, we will launch into what we've got sitting in front of me today. All right, so this is the 2020 Kia Sorento SX. And I'll come around to the front here. We're just gonna do a quick little walk around the side. There's a lot of things I wanna talk about in the front, so we're gonna skip that for now and we'll come back. Around the side, you can see this is sort of a mid-size SUV for us. So underneath the Telluride and above the Sportage, and of course above the Seltos as well, we've got lots of SUVs in our lineup now, like everybody else does. The SX model is our top of the line. So we're gonna talk about some of the trim lines that have changed for 2020. This is the only one you can get 19-inch rims on, except there's a special model, which I'm gonna tell you about in a couple minutes. So there is another way to get these to get different 19-inch rims on this car, and we'll talk about that in a second. Come around the back here, you can see this SX model has some extra chrome down the bottom there by the exhaust. And this is the V6, SX V6. Of course, the only SX you can get is a V6. You can still get a 4-cylinder with the Sorento. And personally, I think that car, the 4-cylinder Sorento, makes a lot of sense for people looking at sort of the compact crossover segment, that Sportage, CRV sort of class of car, but they need more space. And this car is an incredible value. When we went to the Canadian International Auto Show, we started looking at some of the vehicles in this class, and the value for dollar, for feature for dollar and space per dollar of this car compared to a lot of its competitors is really good. So that 4-cylinder, we're gonna talk about engine and powertrain in a few minutes, but that 4-cylinder is a really good option if you need a little more space than a compact SUV, but you want a still to get good fuel efficiency. So yeah, so that's a really good option. Like I said, we're gonna work our way to powertrains and those types of things. Right now, what I wanna do for you is we're gonna start at the front of this car. So this SX model has LED lights across the front. So you've got a little bit different projector beam style lights there, a little hard to show you with all the glare there. So that is sort of an upgraded thing for the 2019 model year, the little bit different face here. This line down here is a LED light strip. And they've got sort of the ice cube style LED fog lights down there. So those LED fog lights used to be a little more square in the previous models. They're now a little bit more rectangular. If you're sort of a Kia nerd like me, you'll know what I'm talking about. Nice sort of chromed grille here. You can see sort of a floating look to it. Really nice appearance up front. It just, all those dashes look like they're just kind of floating in midair. And of course that chrome look helps it stand out. You'll notice there is a camera down there. We're gonna talk about this. You'll also notice there's some dirt in the car. Hey, this is real life, people. We don't clean the cars before we do things. We're working with a limited staff, and I don't think I have access to the detail crew just for my videos here. So nice. Oh, and I should mention these LED lights on the SX model are what they call dynamic bending lights. Essentially they turn and they help you see around corners. So when you're driving at night, at certain speeds, they can turn with the car and you can see around the corners. We're gonna come around this side here where I've got a little extra natural light. This one has Michelin tires on 19-inch rims. Now we talked about 19-inch rims a few minutes ago, and I mentioned there's sort of a surprise. There is a black edition coming, or a sport, black sport model. Oh man, I messed up the name on it. I believe it's called Black Edition. It is an S model car. It will have the 19-inch rims as well, but they will be black. And while I'm over here, I'll just show you internal documents that I'm not supposed to show anybody. Here we go. That is kind of the idea of this S model. Now we will have that car in soon. It is on order for us, and of course we'll do a walk around of that when it comes in. So that one is positioned sort of in the LX Plus area. So there's an LX, LX Plus, and a EX and SX. The SX right now is the only one with those 19-inch rims, but those black rims will be 19-inch on the LX Plus. So kind of a nice way to finish off these model years. When this car first came out, we talked a lot about the high-strength steel in the car. That was a big deal. This car won all kinds of awards. Most of the time, you're only eligible for a lot of car awards in the year that you come out, in the year that you launch that car. And this one won all kinds of awards. And the big one was the best family SUV. I think it was $35,000 and above in Canada. There was other awards that won around the world, but it sort of hit above its price class with that award. And it was really kind of cool for us because it was competing against luxury cars. And the feel of this car is very much a luxury car, and a lot of that has to do with that high-strength steel. They had more high-strength steel than many of its competitors, I mean, all of its competitors, price competitors. And that really makes it a stiff chassis, and you can feel that when you drive it. I just drove this car, of course, recently just to bring it in here, and you can right away tell the, nice quality feel of everything when you jump in. We're gonna hop in the back. I know you asked me a question a second ago about that black trim level. I'll get back to that in a second when I head back to the questions. I just missed that as it's popping up on screen. Because it's dark in here, I've asked one of our technicians if I could borrow his flashlight. And as soon as I get them going, there we go. There is a little bit better view of the trunk on this one. So this one is a 7-passenger vehicle, and you can see I've got the rear seats folded down, and I'm going to keep them folded down because the SX model has that cargo cover. Now you may think, oh no, what am I going to do with that cargo cover? I hate those things because I gotta, they keep the cargo covered, but where do you put them when you are, if you want to put the seats up or if you're traveling and you want to use them? So I'll try to show you underneath here with the light again. You've got some underfloor storage here, and you can see on the side there, as I'm lifting this panel up, that's sort of trying to get the best view I can for you. If you set that panel in that underneath the floor on the left there, it will sit right across through that spot there and over into this side, and you can hide that cargo cover when you take it out into the floor. So somebody just asked about a USB port in the back. I believe there is. There we go. Just gonna turn and find it for you. There is a USB port right there. You've also got that one there, folds the seat down over here, and you've got the same thing on the other side. And your rear third row passengers do have controls there for their climate system. So we can talk about that, rear air conditioning controls. You can see it's a fan speed as well as on and off, and there's a fan or a vent there. Also a lot of speakers here. You've got tweeters up top, and you've got, trying to come around over here, extra speaker down there. So you've got a lot of speakers in the car. We'll talk about that as we work our way to the front and talk about technology. And there's the other speaker there. So the seat belts there, of course, they can tuck out of the way into these little guys right here. So when you have a lot of cargo, you can put them right off to the side. But if not, you can use them as, seat belts when you need them. And you've got a good spot there to put a phone, or at least set a phone, set a cup as well. And like I said, those handles there that can fold down. The middle row seats, which are very tough to reach from here because it is a long ways out. Now that is a 40, 20, 40 split. I know math, honest. So you can fold the center row down on its own, and that will give you access to something like hockey sticks or something long that you want to throw through the middle and still keep the two most comfortable seats available for you. I'm going to turn this light off here. Like I said, feel free to ask me questions along the way. I'd be happy to answer. I know I missed a couple already. I'll get back to them. We're going to head over to, actually I should mention one more thing. There is a spot for a cargo net, a little hook right there. And of course there's tie downs right in there. I don't know if you can see that. I left the dark on. Let me just turn that light back on for you real quick. There's one there. And of course in every corner there's one. So you can put a cargo net flat to the floor, or you can put it up as sort of a bag style back on the back there. And lots of options for your cargo. Turn that light off again. There we go. This is a smart tailgate. So a smart tailgate, you may have seen me do the Telluride. I had it open on its own just by approaching it with the key. There's a lot of ways you can open this one. There is a button there that I can close it with, but this is a good opportunity to show you what the key fob looks like. So this is the key fob. And I'm gonna stand a little bit more in the light just so you can see it again. Again, we are working in our unfinished video bay in case you're wondering what's going on with my lighting. These are part of the COVID-19 things. We're working in situations that aren't always perfect. There's the key fob there. So I'm gonna show you the car and the key fob. There we go. You can see you got lock button, unlock button, and I can hold this for the trunk. When I do that with the powered trunks, you can hear the beeping, and there goes the trunk. So you can do that through the key fob. You can do that by touching the back of the car like you would with any other trunk. And you can also use that smart trunk, which again, you just approach the car, it beeps about 5 times in 3 seconds, and the trunk will open on its own. It's a feature you can set up. I haven't done it right on this car, just a couple clicks in the dash. What I'm gonna do now is show you the back row seat, and we'll work our way to the front and talk about technology. And while we do that, actually, you know what? I'll quickly jump aside, just to make sure I haven't missed anything and go too far on. All right. Can the black rims be put on the SX at no cost? We would have to get black rims as accessories, which probably means they wouldn't be no cost. I believe the black line is just in the certain trim lines, but I'll have to double check that. I'm not 100% sure about if you can get that black trim line in other trims, if it's just a certain trim level. So I'll double check that for you, and I'll answer in the comments when this video is done. All right. If anybody from my workplace is watching and they know some of the questions, they can help you out as well, and I may see them come up. Here we go in the middle row seat. Now, first of all, I want to point out this driver's seat is back further. So what it has is what's called comfort access. So when I turn the key off, the seat moves back. So it's back much further than I need it to drive. There's several levels you can put that back. But I am going to hop in anyways. We're going to do the awkward thing here where I show you how much knee room I have. Now again, the seat is probably 4 inches further back than I need it to be. And I've still got a good 2 inches of space there easily with the seat all the way back. And I'm 6 feet tall. In the center here, you've got some vents, and if I can show them to you, there we go. Got a 12-volt port on the right side, a USB port on the left side, and a regular plug as well in the center. So kind of a nice feature there to keep all your devices charged. You can see the the nets in the back of the seating. The seating, of course, is leather. This is more of a premium leather based on some other leathers in the EX, and the SX has a more premium leather. Not Napa leather, but it is more premium. And the seat backs are plastic. Now, I'm a huge fan of that because when you have someone in the back, especially if you have little kids in the back, they won't scratch up your leather. They will just touch the plastic. You can wipe that down easily. Nice sort of piano black wood style trim in there. We're gonna look at that again in the front. Really hard to show you in this kind of lighting, but that's okay. What I am gonna show you is something that comes standard. And we showed you this in the Sedona as well. These are little shades. Now, my camera adapts instantly to those shades. So they actually provide quite a bit of extra shade, but of course the camera just adjusts to the light and they are hard to see. But those are brilliant. They're built right into the door frame, so they're always there for you. If you've got kids with you, you can just quickly put those up and down. I'm right-handed. You can see I struggled with my left hand. They're very simple to use. One other thing I want to show you here is the lights in here are all LED lights, which means they're the nice white interior lights. They look really sharp and rich. And the other thing I'm going to try to show you is when I look straight up from the back seat. Whoa, it's not going to let me do that. There we go. I have a huge, well, dirty sunroof. And when I say huge, I'm talking it's behind even the rear seats. So, you know, when you look up from the headrest, it's still above the headrest. And that's just the rear panel. There's a huge front panel there as well. I'm going to try to avoid my lighting here that I've got in the place. But you can see that is massive ceiling or sunroof there. So panoramic sunroof, a lot of panoramic sunroofs end just at the rear of the front seats. These ones carry right through. So we'll show you that a little bit more. Let me just hop out and I'll show you that. talked about lots of speakers. As I hop out here, you can see the rear or the middle row seats. They are labeled as Harman Kardon speakers. And of course, the rear seats are heated on the outboard positions, 2 levels of seat heating. So you can see 2 little lights in there if they were on. We'll turn the car on in a second. These seats can also tilt and adjust and recline, so they're very comfortable for someone my size. There's an armrest in the middle here. I'll fold that down for a second. And you can see there's cup holders in there. All right, let's talk technology. Let's go driver's seat. Here we go. First thing you're gonna notice about the SX model. I will turn the car to on, but not start it. That whole center display is a screen. So not just the settings in the center of the speedometer itself. So the needle on the speedometer is also a display. It looks really sharp when you see it in person. I'm just trying to get rid of that glare there. There we go. So that whole display is a screen, and it looks really sharp in person. Very hard to film these types of screens and show you the clarity of them all, but really impressive. Lots of information in here, so you can see drive modes there. We're going to talk about them in 1 second. And speedometer. I'm going to show you one thing if I can. I don't know if it'll be working because the car is off. Yes, there's our all-wheel drive menu. So this is a really cool menu. I don't know if you can sort of see it focus. Let me try to come in around this way. Trying to keep my steady cam. There we go. Sorry if it's a little bit shaky there. So that all-wheel drive menu is amazing. The Dynamax all-wheel drive system on this car is adaptive but reactive. So you don't have a system where the front wheels have to lose traction before the rear wheels kick in. But it is, of course, front-wheel drive bias. So what you end up with when you're on a system where the front-wheel drives lose traction, basically your front-wheel drive has to lose control. Let's say you're going around a corner, your front wheels lose control, then your rear wheels gain traction. All they do is continue pushing you in the wrong direction. So this one is always 5% at least to the rear wheels. And it can move anywhere between 50-50. So you can see the rear wheels can only go up to 50%. The front wheels can go basically 100%. That is a bar graph where you will see in real time each wheel, how much traction goes to each wheel in a bar graph. So you can see your all-wheel drive system work in the slippery conditions and in the different drive modes. And I think it's a brilliant system, a brilliant display to show you our system. We can talk more about that if you want. I want to show you drive modes now. So as we go back, we're going to skip a few things, come down. We're going to come back to some things you saw there. Drive modes. There's a drive mode button right here. You'll notice there's lots of other things to talk about as well. As I hit drive modes, this is an 8-speed transmission on the V6, and you have Comfort, Eco, Sport, and Smart. If you had a Sorento in the past, you'll notice that instead of 3 drive modes, there's now 4. Going to be very honest with you, now that they've added this Smart mode, I don't really see a reason to have a Comfort mode. It's just sort of a something that I wouldn't drive in because this Smart mode is so good. So that Comfort mode, sort of the standard settings. Eco mode. Eco mode keeps you in, if you're driving efficiently anyways, it will resist downshifting, it will try to upshift as quick as it can, and it fights for fuel economy. The issue some people have had with the Eco mode is if they are on a country road and want to pass somebody, or if they're getting on the highway, you give it a little bit of gas, you give it a little extra gas, you give it a little extra gas, and then it downshifts and gets going and really starts revving up. And that's because it's designed to resist upshifts. So what I love about that Smart mode is in that Smart mode, and I'm going to show you on the display here sort of how it works. Oops, I skipped it, I'm sorry. In that Smart mode, you have a display. You can see it says Smart Comfort. So right now it's Comfort. It might say Smart Eco, it might say other things as well. So what it has is a bar graph along the bottom that goes towards economical or aggressive. It says dynamic in some of our other cars. This one says aggressive. I prefer the word dynamic, but anyways, the idea is the Smart mode can drop you into that Eco mode when you're driving efficiently, but as soon as you get out and you start giving a little bit of gas, it'll put you into as much as the Sport mode if you want. And what that does is gives you real flexibility to get great fuel economy when you're just driving normally, but also give you that performance right away. And it's just a smart mode, and that's, I guess, why they call it Smart. And I like the way you can sort of see how it works in all these displays through that center screen. So that center screen is really impressive to me. The other screen that's really impressive is this one here. Now you may have seen this before. It's our 8-inch screen, kind of familiar to some people. A lot of features in here. I'm going to show you one feature that a lot of people don't know about. It's starting to rain outside, so this should show us some pretty good information. Let's look at the Doppler radar. You can see, yep, it's definitely raining near us. So we've got Doppler radar in this car. We've got other features that people sometimes don't know about. That's why I like to do these live videos, just to show something you maybe haven't seen before. And so that's one option. Of course, we've got UVO. We're going to talk about that in a second. You can look at driving info, which is all kinds of, oh yeah, the engine has to be running for that. And of course, this has navigation, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, lots of stuff going on the go in there. What I love about our touchscreen is you've got buttons over on the side as well. A lot of those are sort of redundant buttons. You can see radio here. I can tap there, it would turn the radio on and it would bring the radio full screen, or I can just hit the radio button. So you can do all sorts of things. Navigation, same thing. I can tap the map, or we can go to the map button or navigation button. And there's a star there, which I like to set up for my Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Hit that button, it goes to that phone projection system, and it looks great in that system as well. All right, car's on, climate system's not. Dual zone climate control with a tri-zone for the rear air conditioning. I can turn that rear air conditioning on or off. And again, so can my rear passengers. We saw that back there. So simple system, set the temperature to whatever you want. It'll bring it up or down as you need it. Has an auto defog system. So the front window, when it gets foggy, it'll auto defog. Great system there. And you've got ventilated seats or heated seats and a heated steering wheel in the front here. So heated steering wheel, heated seats, ventilated seats, same thing on the passenger side. Easy to touch, easy to reach, easy to get to. I'm going to take the car into neutral for a second just so I can clear that gear shift out of the way. This is that nice sort of piano black trim we talked about. Underneath there, you do see the wireless charge pad. If you drop your phone in there, it will charge. There'll be a little orange light right here as your phone's charging. On this side and that side, you have two 12-volt sockets, and in the center, you have a USB port as well. That USB port is what you would use for Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. What's kind of nice about this car is you can just hide it right like that. Now, I moved this into reverse, and I kind of hinted earlier, you see a little camera view button there. We're going to throw this, or put it in neutral. We're going to throw it back in reverse, and I'm going to show you the 360 camera. This is amazing. Remember that camera we talked about in the very front grille of the car? This is my video bay, and it's as if I'm filming from above. You can see there's the grate along the side, right by the door. You can see right now I'm looking behind me. If I want to look just behind me, there's the whole camera just behind. What if I'm parallel parking? I can see the left side of the vehicle, so I can parallel park there, or the right side of the vehicle, and somebody's jumping in my video bay. They're not supposed to be here. Ha, that's the best. All right, he's stealing the ladder. We're going to go back to the 360 view, and you can see him stealing my ladder behind me, and you can see the 360 view. He's sneaking out. All right, so as you can see, that 360 camera is really, really good because it gives you a really clear view of what's around you. But it also, if I was to put it in drive, it won't work right now. Oh, there we go. It does work right now. You can see the same thing in front of me. So there's the front camera at slower speeds. After I've come out of reverse, throw it in drive, you can see in front of me. And of course, I can do the same thing here. Just the front side, parallel parking, left side, right side, and of course, 360 camera. So really good system. I've used other 360 cameras in other cars. I like Kia's better. Very clear screen, very accurate. So what they have to do is, of course, they have to computer model what the cameras can see, because here would be a different view versus there. That's sort of looking down. This is sort of looking out. And so what it does is computer software that sort of figures out how to reorient the wide-angle lenses, and Kia's system works really, really well with that system. So of course that comes on this car, on the SX model as standard. You also have that electronic parking brake right there. Smart cruise control is in this car. If you've never driven a car with smart cruise control, I have always used cruise control only on the highway, only when it's wide open. As soon as you have smart cruise control, your usage flips. You use it all the time in traffic, and this one has, of course, with stop and go. The steering wheel is getting very warm right now because I accidentally left that on. Anyways, this one has smart cruise control with stop and go. What that means is, as you're driving along, you let's say a car comes out in front of you, you set your cruise control for whatever it is, let's say 110 kilometers an hour, and a car comes out going 90, this car will slow down for it. But what if you hit stop and go traffic? Using this button, well, you don't have to use that button at all. The car will slow down, including to a stop, and continue to accelerate. And I've driven home from the Toronto airport. We are an hour from Toronto airport to here, and on the highway, I did not touch the gas or brake the entire way home. I just used the cruise control. And that works well with our lane keeping and blind spot detection as well on this car. You can see those buttons there, blind spot. So you can always see what's going on around you with your electronics. And again, that screen, while I touch certain buttons here, everything that you do in the car will let you know. So heated steering wheel on, heated steering wheel off. A lot of information in that display screen, including all of your cruise control information. That display really changes up when you set your cruise control. So super good system there. Automatic lights, we're going to turn them on and take a look at them as we go outside. And you've got standard lights there. When I lock the car, if I wanted to do that, let me see if I can give you a better look at these now. This one has folding in mirrors. Right now it's set to the auto setting. You'll notice that my mirrors, left and right, are the left one is currently on. What that does on a lot of our Kias, if you leave it, and sometimes it's a rocker switch, if you leave it tilted left or right, when you go in reverse, those mirrors will tilt down. So they'll sit level and they'll tilt down. That'll help you see the lines beside you. This car has that. So if you're parking this car, in addition to that 360 camera we talked about, you've also got backup and front beepers. So they will show you things that you can't see in the cameras. Well, you should see them in cameras, but if you miss them in the cameras, it'll still beep at you if something's really close. And you have mirrors that can tilt down. And that's why that setting is right now highlighted with the left side still on. Because as you go in reverse, those mirrors will tilt as well. Of course, you can adjust them there, lock, unlock, auto windows, all 4 of them are auto, of course, on this level of car. I also want to show you the seat, and we're going to hop out to do that real quick. Actually, I should leave the car on so the lights stay on. Car's on, seat's moving back and forth. Oops, come on, camera, move around. There we go. Camera's trying to correct my movements here. All right. What I want to show you on the seat here is you have multi-controls. So you have a lumbar adjustment that's in and out, but you can also move it up or down. So a 4-way lumbar, typical power seat adjustments here. But one thing that I like is the front of the seat there. You can see it's just moved in. Now I'm going to push this button right there, and it comes out. If you're sharing this car with anyone, you can have tall and short people share this car easily. You've also got a tilt and telescopic steering wheel. So that tilt and telescopic steering wheel goes in and out, up or down. And you can lengthen the seat and shorten the seat, and you have memory seats as well. So just great car to share with another driver because you can just set the memory seats up and makes it easy to fit. It's beeping because I still have the key in my pocket. I'm going to show you the lights there. Oh, I'm sorry, the signal lights are, yeah, those are signal lights there in the LED. You can see all 3 of the lights are on with just the headlights, not high beams on. And there's your fog lights as well. So kind of a sharp look to this SX model out front. It's just, you know, camera has a little bit of trouble adjusting those lights, but they look really cool in person. And I'll show you the rear lights while we're here as well. We're at about 27 minutes. We usually go about a half an hour. I have no problem going a little bit longer if you guys want and you want to ask me questions. Now's a great time to ask me some questions. I know I missed a few. There's the lights in the rear on the SX. Sometimes there's a little bit of a flicker on the camera. They seem to be doing pretty well, but you'll see a little bit of a flicker on this one here. That's just the way LED lights react to cameras. But there we go. If you guys think I should continue to do these things, give me a thumbs up on the video. That would help me out. Let me give me an indication if there's people that think this is a good idea. Certainly we're going to do a bunch more for the short term, and we'd like to continue to do more if we can. And let me just go back here as we get to your questions. All right, trailer hitch available. Oh, great question, trailer hitch. So we talked about the 4-cylinder earlier. 4-cylinder, 2.4 liter, and we'll talk about the engine in a second. That comes with a 2,000-pound towing capacity. You can get a trailer hitch. This one here with the V6 is a 5,000-pound capacity, and if you like this car, don't wait for the 2021 model because what we know of that is it's a 4-cylinder engine only, and it likely won't tow 5,000 pounds. So you can get a trailer hitch right here. You can get a bike rack accessory, of course, for that, and you also have it pre-wired for your trailer wiring. So it's very easy plug-and-play type stuff for that. And so yeah, that's the big selling feature of this car that I almost left out there. 5,000-pound towing capacity. All right, let me just pop the hood real quick because I did promise I'd talk about the motor, the engine. Pop the hood. We're going to turn the car off. There we go. We'll come around the front. So again, 3.3 liter V6. And you can see this is just like our Soul as well, and some of our other cars. You have the struts there, so there's no pin. It is a GDI engine, and this one is with the 8-speed transmission. So some people with earlier Sorentos only had the 6-speed transmission. The 4-cylinder still has a 6-speed transmission. The 6-cylinder has an 8-speed transmission. So think Telluride, think Stinger, 8 gears in all of those vehicles. This one, the mileage, according to the stats, didn't really improve with that 8-speed, but certainly the drivability did, and I think real-world mileage will improve as well with that 8-speed. You have a lot of good torque, good driving experience with that 8-speed transmission. Works really well with that smart mode that we talked about in the driving modes as well. All right, I'm going to set the camera up real quick. I'm going to spin my camera around. If anybody has any questions about any trim level of the Sportage, now's a great question. As I'm at my computer here, I do have a number of sheets out to give me some information. The USB, yep, black rims, we talked about that. All right, I think we've covered everything that we need for your questions. Tomorrow we're going to do the Rio. That's going to be a tougher one to get an audience for. I think it's a great little car. We're also going to touch on some other of our small cars and how I think the Rio fits and plays its part in the lineup. And the Stinger, of course, is the car a lot of people have been asking about. There's one sitting just outside here. We'll talk about that on Thursday. We're off Friday. And then we will be back next Monday, and we'll figure out what we're going to do in order. We have some Seltos. People have been asking about the Seltos SX. We're going to try to get that in here as soon as we can, and other cars as well. And so thanks, everybody, for watching. We're just over the 30-minute mark, so unless you have a question right in the next minute, then we're going to keep moving on, and I will go back outside of my little video bay here, and we'll do my other work that I have to do today. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will talk to you next time. Again, if you have any questions and you're watching this in the replay, ask me below in the comments. I still monitor all the comments. And of course, we're not a video review channel. We're a dealership channel. So we have these vehicles in stock. We can revisit these vehicles at any point. One thing I want to touch on real quickly with sales, our sales team is still open. We have to work online right now. We've been doing online stuff for forever. We have one of the top YouTube channels for Kia anywhere in the world, and a lot of that just reflects the work we've been doing online. So we're very used to working online. If you need a car, if you'd like a car, if you want to shop for a car, we're able to do that right now. So please feel free to reach out to us on our website. That's www.brantfordkia.ca. And we'll be glad to help you there. And of course, servicing needs, if you need that as well, you can call us 509-304-6542. I mentioned the other day my Instagram is the best way to see what we're doing next. You can visit me at Peter_Brantford_Kia. And if we're changing things up or doing things differently, that's where you'll find out about it. And I want to thank everybody for watching. Have a lovely afternoon. Keep safe, everyone. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow.